Hey everyone, my name is Dhruv Kumar Kurabati and welcome to this online learning session. As every one of us are in lockdown and are attending school online, I thought maybe it would be a good experience for us if we discuss some of the topics taught in class amongst ourselves. So today, I've taken the liberty to talk about banks, commercial and central banks to be precise, and also their functions. So let's see in the upcoming presentation. So what do you know about a bank? A bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits of money from the public, withdrawable by check or otherwise, and uses the money so collected for lending the households, the firms, and the government. So it is simply an organization which accepts deposits from the public, and whatever deposits are collected from that deposit, the money is advanced as loans to other firms or the public. Let's see what are the different types of banks. The different types of banks are the central bank. The central bank is a national bank, or it is the top bank of the country that provides and financial and banking services for its country's government, and also the government's banking system. It also implements the government's monetary policy and issues currency. An example of the central bank of our country, is RBI, the Reserve Bank of India. Commercial banks. Commercial banks are banks that offer services to the general public and to companies. Example, SBI and HDFC. Third, cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are the banks whose main objective is to provide financial assistance to economically weaker sections of the society. An example of a cooperative bank, the New India Cooperative Bank. The regional rural banks. The regional rural banks are banks which grant loans to small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, cooperative societies, and to individuals including artisans, small entrepreneurs, and persons of small means. An example of RRB is the Andhra Pradesh Gramin Vikas Bank. The main objective of the Land Development Bank is to promote the development of agriculture and increase the agricultural production. An example of a land development bank is Pragati Cooperative Land Development Bank Limited. 6. Exchange Bank. Exchange banks are community banks offering personal and business banking services, including mortgages, home loans, and lines of credit and SBA loans. An example of exchange bank, Citibank. Now, seventh. Now, Exim banks. When you separate the word X and M, it also stands for export and import. The main function of the export and import banks of India is to provide financial and other assistance to importers and exporters of the country. It oversees and coordinates the working of other institutions that work in the import or export sector. An example, the Exim Bank of India. Last but not the least, we have development banks, which are specialized financial institutions. They provide medium and long-term loans to uh, individuals for development purposes. Now let's see in the next slide what are the functions of commercial banks. These may include mobilization of savings, uh, promoting economic development, increasing capital formation. Let's see. Acceptance of deposits. Now, acceptance of deposits, as I mentioned before, the commercial banks accept deposits from the public, and then the so collected deposit, with that money, they advance loans to the public. And third, facilitation of payments through checks. All the payments in a bank are facilitated through checks. Transfer of funds. Any member of the bank or the uh, public registered in the bank can transfer his funds, which he has deposited in the bank, from one bank account to another. Credit creation. Now we will be studying credit creation in detail in the next slide. credit creation. It is a situation in which it is a situation in which banks make more loans to consumers and the businesses, with the result that the amount of money in circulation, which is being passed from one person to another, increases. In other words, it refers to the unique power of the banks to multiply loans and advances, and hence deposits. An example of credit creation: commercial banks purchasing securities. Yeah, this is also creating credit. In the next slide, we're going to be looking at the role of commercial banks in an economy. The role of commercial banks in an economy can be stated as mobilization of savings, increased rate of capital formation, provision of financing credit, assisting in foreign trade, promoting economic development. We are going to be studying in detail what is a central bank. So, a central bank is a bank which is the monetary institution or the apex institution of the banking structure of the economy of the country. Now, if in detail, we might say that it is a monetary institution which fully controls the production, the circulation, and the supply of money in the market, seeking to regulate the member banks and stabilize the nation's economy and national currency. Next slide. We're going to be talking about the functions of central banks. These may include lender of the last resort, banker's bank, an advisor to the bank, an advisor and fiscal agent, and a banker to the government, and also many other. Let's see. Bank issue. Now, we may recognize this function of the central bank by saying that bank issue, which can be elaborated as a central bank holds monopoly over the country in issuing the currency. It means no other, which means no other bank can issue currency in a country other than central bank. A banker, fiscal agent, and advisor to the government. As stated here, it is a banker, fiscal agent, and advisor to the government, which means it acts as a it acts as a government's bank. It acts as a monetary helper and also an advisor to the government in all financial decisions. Now let's see. It acts as a banker to the banks, which means that banks can also deposit their money in the central bank. Now we're going to be seeing in the fourth point, the custodian of nations' foreign exchange reserves. Now, this may be defined as when a commercial bank fails to advance loans to the public, it may apply for a loan in the central bank. In which means, in a case of emergency, the central bank may advance loans to commercial banks. And this was a function lender of the last resort. Now, the fourth point, custodian of nation's foreign exchange reserves, it means it keeps the central banks is responsible to keep all the nation's foreign exchange reserves in it. The last slide, and we're going to be summarizing all the points we have covered today. And let's see. To summarize, we have seen a commercial bank, the main types of banks, functions of a commercial bank, credit creation, role of a bank in an economy, central bank, functions of a central bank. Thank you for listening and hope you all stay safe.